So I'll bring the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. President, BJ, Steve, and myself. The other two are going to be here shortly. Our manager Eric and Rosemary and Donna in a minute. Dan Kopp here from sewer treatment and Roger DeMar. So, we want to do Roger before the minutes, or?
Well, just get review agenda adjustment changes needs to change. Is there any others?
I know GiGi wanted that, so we can wait till she's here and let her add it.
Okay.
It's just a quick thing she wanted to
go
add.
ahead and take care of Roger if you want to.
No, they're both walking in there now.
Oh, there we go.
Hey.
We've come to order and we're at the reviews, changes, additions. And there's a rumor that you have something to add.
Thank you. I would like to, yes. I would like to add,
I don't see.
request to pay for the mill tax.
You ready?
Where do you want to put that picture?
If we can say that to, we'll put it 8.5 for the executive session.
Okay.
Thank you. Hey.
Roger. What happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
Didn't go there for 2-3 days, and we had that cold snap. The outside spigot wasn't shut off, doesn't bother for all the years I was on the house. Did that night, moved it up, got a hole right through the snow, right through the road.
Yep. You made all,
And didn't win the silver at all.
you made all necessary repairs and adjustments?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that way tenants don't need to use water on preventers, they wash the cars. Water's very expensive because you have to pay for the sewer.
Yes, sir.
So I'm agreeable with this adjustment that she.
Okay,
Basically, what you got is he paid $954.91 for that month's sewer. The 3-month average is $46.78. The average in 3 months of that, so I have the formula on this form is done, is $140.33. So charging $140.33, he's asking the board credit him back, refund him $814.58. And I support that.
Does that just go as a credit? Will he get a check back, or will it just go as a credit?
That's a big credit. I think a long
Yeah,
time to
probably.
pay off.
so it was 814 what?
$814.58 refund.
So I guess I'd be looking for a motion from the board.
Motion to refund at 814.58.
I'll second the motion.
Any more discussion on it? GG, are you familiar with what we're doing? Mr. DeMar had a water break, and as long as they made immediate repairs, and done their duty, as long as it doesn't go down the sewer, we tend to credit them back. He hasn't had any, if they're a repeat offender, we can take different suggestions.
If they fix the problem, which she has.
Right, thank you.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Go, Rod.
So they don't need credit or.
We'll refund it.
If you want a credit, you can do a credit or you can get a check.
Whichever's the easiest for the town.
Whatever you would like. Whatever you would like.
I'll take the check.
Me too, Roger.
Hopefully, say, yeah, he's gonna buy popcorn, he's buying all these ones down.
Okay.
We're just waiting for his insurance deal to get through and everything. But I still got property to go.
So Rosemary will get your check at her leisure. We'll get you,
Something downstairs.
we'll get you one. Thank you. Next. I gotta approve the minutes. Review and approve minutes for trustee meeting April 10th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Did you?
Aye.
Did you?
Oh, yes, I did.
Unanimous. Treasurer's report.
Okay, I passed out a budget status report.
I'll ask again since everybody wasn't hearing anything big. Revenues are all accurate. Or
What little the general has had so far.
We got the 10,000 back on the electric car, right?
Yes,
Yes.
and we got about $8,000 or $9,000 for the damage the raccoons have done to the cold storage building.
no, it's through insurance.
Yes. And I put that in the general department. Any bills will be paid out of that. That's
So raccoon damage can go through your insurance?
Well, in fact, most of it is the water damage from the freeze up,
Oh,
but they assessed it for both.
Huh.
Yeah.
Raccoons could have caused this fall for the freeze up, so.
wow.
Yeah, so far we paid Servpro and Long Crafting Associates.
So does that about make up, you think, for all the time and everything we put into it, or?
Oh, we did okay.
Okay.
Everything,
Except, yeah, we pay our premium all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, we did okay.
so everything else is looking good, Rosemary? Nothing that's bothering you?
Could I just ask one quick question? What's the pilot payment? That's the state of Vermont for state-owned buildings that are in the village.
Payment
We won't get that
taxes.
until-
That's the other
So that's
state one. It's an acronym, payment in lieu of taxes. The school does the same thing.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So everything's on track with where it should be.
Water sales and electrical sales are still good?
Electrical sales to the end of April is at 36%. And costs through the end of February. No, this is to the end of March. Is at 23%.
Nice. Yeah, and so you're at 36% on the sales and it's 33% of the year. So it's good.
33 or 36?
The 36 is what we got.
Yeah.
33 is the time frame.
Yeah. So we're a little ahead of it.
Go ahead.
We always pay a month behind on. electricity.
Says fire revenue is a little ahead of normal. Total other fire revenue 44% already.
That's because we had a fire call bill.
Oh,
We
gotcha.
had one so far. You know, that's, you guess it can be gonna get long-term fire calls.
Okay, everybody good with that?
Mhm.
You got-
Water sales.
General department,
35%.
oops, sorry.
For 4 months.
General department benefit, 46% already, almost half. What's that for? Page three, very top. Yeah, general department benefits. We're almost halfway through it already.
That is most.
Anything we gotta worry about?
Well, in the winter time, that's the guy's time.
Okay,
Time.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that will come down in summer.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sidewalk.
Yeah, everything else is below the 33.
Save a lot of money on snow removal.
Oh, yeah.
Like here.
So you have a lot of.
Like there you. And actually kind of working the weekends differently.
Yep, it shows.
And sewer assessments are at 33%.
Yeah.
Have we had 1 month with a new rate increase?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, go.
The only other thing I've had was for our community bank. This is just given authorization to make up that new account for the ARPA funds.
For the funds formerly known as ARPA funds, what they'll be,
And it needs,
Kelly Prince.
Yeah,
Ken's signature. If the board needs it, but you know that.
So I guess we
Heavy duty washing machine.
I motion for
Yes.
Ken to sign the
community bank.
community bank account for the ex ARPA funds.
And what's the interest rate that it will be earning? Well, what's the earning?
It starts at 3.25%.
I'll second BJ's motion.
So we have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor?
I,
I-
Sorry, should I have waited to ask that
No.
question?
no,
All
all
right.
right.
And if we need this money, we can get it. It's not tied up. So. We can make up the 6 withdrawals a month. Okay.
That it, Rosemary?
And what was the total that's
Is
being
there a
put in
penalty
there?
for withdrawing or no?
No.
No.
Okay.
What was the total being put in there?
I'm gonna put 400,000,
Thank you.
90% of that.
And what are we gonna do with the other? Just,
We'll leave it in. In case.
In case we need it.
so it's still off the books, so.
Yeah.
We're off the ARPA
Right,
list.
It's ours now.
right.
So now it's in
Well,
a dedicated
the
account.
accounts there, we haven't done the move.
Correct,
Right.
correct. We got rid of it for the state of Vermont.
Yeah.
What we did.
Not yet. We're working, this allows us to do
Close.
this.
Right, now that you got that.
Wait, now we gotta work it through
going.
operations budget. We
Yep.
have a meeting tomorrow, or Wednesday, I forget. It's in my calendar. Wednesday with Katie Buckley, who's the ARPA guru for the LCT, who's gonna, answer any of our questions on the best and most legal way to do this.
Perfect.
That's a good idea.
So,
So it could take months, right?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you gotta spin it through operations.
Right.
Yep.
Before we jump on the manager's report, I'd just like to, I don't know if I told everybody last time, but the fire department with the repeater, we were doing the FCC license and that got approved. And RJ sent me and Eric an email to verify that we did give them permission to use 20 grand out of small tool funds, so they are purchasing equipment as we speak. Eric.
All righty. Definitely as a member of the expert panel for the VTC Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy Capstone Project presentation in Randolph. Panel fielding questions about the project and future views of students doing such work. Other members of the panel included Professor, Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of State, Assistant Secretary of Labor, and the State Energy Program Manager from BGS. The Energy Program Manager is very interested in our project, and he is the selecting authority for the MERP $500,000 grant that we are pursuing. He also said that the Ashby Level 1 energy audit can be used as the one needed for the MERP grant funding, and this will push us to the front of the line.
Mhm.
Has that been scheduled yet?
What's that?
That initial,
It's done.
the energy audit's done already?
Yeah, it was done by the students.
Oh, that's what was done by the,
So the
okay,
students, they were hoping to do one to support the whole MERP thing. And it was a surprise to everyone that BGS said, we'll use that.
Terrific. I think I remember that. So thank you for reminding me.
The congressionally directed spending request of Sarah Welch, submitted by Tori Helwig of LCPC and myself, was selected by Senator Welch as one of the 22 out of 150 applications that he is choosing to fund. Senator Welch actually called me himself to give us the news. It's a huge step, and it was as a result in that it will fund 75% of project costs up to a max award of $824,000. While Senator Welch has selected it, it still must make its way through the congressional budget process, but it looks good. That was the biggest news of the month.
That's a biggie.
Yep.
That's a huge.
Well, that's if the feds pass the budget.
Hey, yeah, well,
Talking to,
Yeah, it just sounds like they're gonna
talking
kick
to
kick it
who
down
knows,
the road.
someone who knows congressional stuff that, you know, they'll fight about big stuff and all. But no one likes to get rid of earmarks because that's both sides, and that's what gets votes.
mhm,
So
that's right.
they pretty much leave them alone.
So we're looking at more or less almost 75%, because if I remember right, they were estimating like 1.25 million to 1.5 for the garage,
So
right?
if we get this
And the 500,
and the 500,
we are,
this will require over 200 of the ARPA money as match.
which is, so that'll bring us to 1 million.
And, but
Yeah.
if we were to use all of the ARPA, the BGS and this, we've at 1.7. So we're looking pretty good.
So we're
I mean, I
not,
think that, and he actually thinks so now too. I think that LCPC's initial estimate of the project was low.
Yes, I
Oh.
do too.
Yes, it was low.
No, that's
So-
at least 20%.
We may end up using the full 1.7 on this, but we haven't.
which is
Well,
fine,
we think
because,
we have.
yeah,
So is there an issue with, the joint ownership of that garage
We'll
with the
discuss that a
funding
little
stuff?
that's later.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's later.
that's a later discussion.
But now let's all be clear too, it's up to 824,000.
Well, it's
Doesn't mean-
75%. To a max, that's what it cuts off, because basically it's 75% of
75%.
what he estimated the cost to be.
Yeah.
So if our project goes higher,
You
you
think
still
that
get the
grant-
824.
Correct.
So there's a strong possibility we may not have to get out a big bond for it.
Strong possibility.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's too early to even suggest that, but
But
it was,
Well, It's looking
the things are aligned as good as they can
Right.
at this point.
a lot better shape than we were 5 months ago.
Yes.
Cool.
All right, due to the recent presence of hypodermic needles down near the water spigot at the cold spring, as well as the ongoing dumping of illicit household trash bags in our trash can, I had 2 security cameras installed covering those areas. No needles have been seen since, and the trash volume has reduced significantly.
Perfect.
and we had signs up saying there's cameras now.
Yeah, all the signs went in
The
with.
signs,
yeah.
At the
Good.
same time.
Yeah.
The local business offered to donate 10 needle deposit stations for the village board if we will use them, which may also help the safety problem. Talking to other local business people and all, there's a concern with that just due to appearances. And something we want to think about, you know, maybe there are places that they're useful that aren't really an eyesore and make people think the wrong thing about Johnson.
You know what, I saw him at coffee, I saw him at the
Right.
coffee shop again this week. And he's not happy about the camera and the sign up on the village sign. Still willing to buy the disposal things. But I didn't ask where the suggestion was to put them.
Right.
And because, you know, he said, well, that sign's not very welcoming. Well, neither is seeing those.
Needles are less welcome than the.
That's right. And that is exactly what he said too.
Right.
But, yeah,
The,
but there was no thought on where to put those.
yeah, so my thought on those is I'll get with Nate and the sheriff's department and ask them where they're finding these things. And if there's some locations that are not so blatantly, you
Right,
know,
in your face.
in your face, then we could put them that they'd be useful, but
Yeah.
not, you
Yeah,
know, obscene, then maybe we'll go for it.
Makes sense.
yeah. His experience was you put the cameras up and you put the sign up and all they do is move around the corner,
Which is okay.
which,
I mean, it's
well,
not,
then
it's
they're
not
just gonna be
great.
somewhere else, yeah. But
If
you
the-
need
the
someplace
needle is
to
this
put those
far-
needles.
The needle is this far from the water.
Yeah.
What happens if it
Yeah.
goes in the water with fentanyl
Yeah,
and that's, you know,
And you don't even know if there's not any in there.
right,
right.
so. Yeah, I mean, around the corner is not great, but it's better than there.
So do we want to pursue him picking those up, ordering those?
I think.
Or do we want to wait, or do you want to get?
Wait and do some research.
All right,
Yeah, I think that'd be best, and then. I'd say look for the board's consensus to let Eric. Decide on how many in
Where?
proper locations.
I mean, he's willing to buy 10.
Yeah.
You
I
can
know.
always just have them and
Yeah, we might.
store
we
them
might need
somewhere.
Those, might only need.
Just have them and
Yeah.
if he's willing to buy them now, put them in storage.
Right.
What are they, a little?
I hate,
like
I hate to
the
spend,
mailbox
I hate to
and
spend a
slot?
local businessman's money if I'm not gonna use
Use
this
it.
thing.
Is it just basically sharp containers? Is
Yeah.
that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
like-
red ones at hospitals, I
Yeah,
But
think.
yeah, they're just like, they say that they're for you to put your needle in.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
How
thought
many
we,
places? Oh, sorry.
I thought we had them. I thought there was one over by I call it the Legion Field. I thought there was
I don't
one
know
over
where it
there
is, I don't know.
a while, like last year or the year before. Do you remember? Have you ever seen one?
Maybe the one at the state park.
Yeah,
Yeah, anyway.
so I have, the only concern I have, Eric, is that I don't want to see them littered around the tent.
I agree.
I think
Yeah,
2 to 3 strategic locations
Yeah, that's, yeah.
would be adequate and.
That's what
I
I
think
talked to.
before we do it, I think we ought to get the public's opinion on the locations.
Right. So that's
You
what
know.
I'm saying, we get between the crew and the sheriff still know where the activity is being happening and if there's. I mean, look at the Cold Spring. They picked that spot because they could get out of public view.
well, they also picked the bandstand at the Legion Field.
Right.
Last summer, there was a problem.
So that's all we gotta find
So
out this year.
Yeah.
luckily, some of the places that are gonna be needles are gonna be areas out of sight, out of mind,
Mhm.
and that'd be a good place to put them.
We can't cover the whole woods and.
Right.
Exactly,
Right, but
exactly.
if there's any places, you know,
We put one up in the cemetery.
under the bandstand, you know, people should be hanging out anyway.
Any hot spots.
But they are.
I just hate to see them up and down Main Street.
Right.
And having people
No,
walk up and
I
down Main
agree.
Street, all that
Right.
stuff, but I guess it's just as bad for them to throw them out in the bushes, so I don't.
Yep. Yep, well,
Anybody else on that, or
I'll look into it and get back to that.
the board's okay with Eric?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Definitely.
Okay. Lastly, a couple of local businesses, through 3 beautiful flower pots outside the village office entrance. I'd like to thank Green Mountain Media Blasting and a little curio shop for their community spirit.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yes.
Mr. Dan. How you doing? Good.
All right, on the wastewater line, the PJ Margaret Drug 43 was submitted to the state. We put a couple of low water pressure issue at the Gulf Rec. Found the abandoned process water filters, it's still plumbed in and we put it solid. We took it back, cleaned the screens and it cured the problem. And now we know that it's, even if it was mechanically set up, so we're cleaning them and all this and the wires are just dangling, they were discontinued, but we didn't even know what it was. It's so that cured our problem. Anyways, also we got all kinds of pressure now.
Good.
We pumped out the process water tank prior to this to see if that was the issue and inspect it. There's a 30,000 gallon process water tank underneath the UV system out there. And there is quite a thick layer of sludge at the bottom of it. And it will need to be pumped out at some point. It's a tricky confined space, so there'll be some issues, getting that line that be done, but. And it is not immediate hurry on it, something for this year to get done. We received and replaced the sludge grinder for the press that we'd ordered 4 months ago. We installed the new repaired belt on the belt press that we received back from the manufacturer that we repaired the defect it had. We raked and cleaned up with the yard, both the wastewater plant and water plant. We received a quote from Google Electrical, County Plumbing, and Williams for the electrical efficiency upgrade of the wastewater plant. Gave a plant tour to GiGi and Linda. We pulled the main drive mode on the belt press and did it for electrical as it's been tripping out overheating. We haven't gotten that back yet. All the fire extinguishers at both facilities were serviced and certified. On the water side, the monthly reports were submitted to the state. Outgoing samples were negative. We cleaned the inside of the water plant. We rotated the pumps at 81 Cruiser Station. And the water loss for people was 23%. It's up a little bit, but we'll see if it's kind of not. The way the meters are read over the course of 2 days and the way we figure it out, there's a buffer of like error. So.
On that drive motor, do we have a backup for that?
No, we don't.
Should we have a backup for that?
No, it's a pretty generic motor. I mean, even if they said that one's no good, I can get one here in a week.
And that wouldn't affect your operation.
No, we only run that in 2 weeks. Like we pulled it right after the Belfast run, so we've got that buffer. I think it's just going to be variance, so shouldn't be any big deal about it.
And on the water loss, we received an application form today to sign up for state grant funded protection, 100% paid for. So.
No, what's that? Just like a pressure monitor?
No, it's contractor that comes out and works, has special equipment and such, and works with your crew.
Test line.
Go around and listening to leaks.
My street has a leak that Nate's gonna work on Thursday.
Yep. And also through the same grant, we're signing up for a contractor to do valve exercising and inventory.
What's that? What did you say?
So water valves,
Oh,
if you don't work them, they get,
Frozen?
they get old. This
Then
is,
when you need them, you have one break, you can't shut the water off, then make sure,
so
service.
the contractor has a bunch of tools, including vacuum and all that stuff, so if there's any sand or whatever in the way, sucks it out, puts his machine on it, cranks it, a certain number of cranks back and forth. Counts the cranks, so you think you have an 8-inch valve, but really you have a 6, he can tell you.
So let me ask you, around the time you were first starting, we were talking about when we talked to Nate about having everything mapped out, having somebody come in and map it out, and maybe there's grants or whatever. Have we moved anywhere on that?
We haven't gotten that, no,
Okay,
we're kind of waiting for.
I know we got a lot of stuff on our plate and stuff. I was just curious. if there was
I'm
anything.
interested in watching for that money to show up.
Okay, perfect.
Because it comes around. We are moving on it on the electrical side.
Okay, good.
Through VIPSA.
So we're gonna get a map of our lines.
So whether it's Nate or any of the other ones, I don't have to guess and all that. Yeah.
Yep. All right, water light report.
Perfect, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you for the tour. I do have one question. It's sort of, I guess, for you. You know, the hum and
The hub.
The transformers.
the transfer hum
Mm,
and that getting the money to put it on the other side of the wall is sort of not possible.
Yeah, we're not into the background.
But is there a way, I've been thinking about this, is there a way to insulate it from the front, and close it with a door from the
We
front?
talked to the electrician and he said, don't do it, because
Okay.
it creates a heat issue. and-
Right, I get it, okay. Anyway, just wanted to let you know,
Yeah.
I haven't forgotten.
We're trying to have a avenue to figure out what to do with them in place and it's just not.
Okay, It won't be forgotten.
Eric,
Much of them,
Yeah.
Eric was telling me you opened all the windows and whatnot of the cupola.
Yeah.
Did it seem to be helping any or?
Definitely, you know. When we get the heat in the summer, the humidity, that'll help a little warm. It's what's more during the dead of the winter than that's in the summer, so. You get the sun beats on the window, this creates condensation.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty thaw out there, so. It's not gonna fall in. Yeah. It's gonna have to
Pretty sad.
We're trying to more the full neutral option this summer than double the air. The other consider trying to, you know, in-house full lunar option versus.
Yeah.
That'll more than double the air.
Is there any way of having some of the Lamoille Construction Tech Center guys come and have it be a teachable moment and have them work on that?
I would say that. I don't think our insurance would cover that. I don't know if the schools. The tech may, it's something that could be looked into, but. That's a pretty dangerous area for.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
you know, that's.
And students aren't gonna wanna work over.
a sewer plant, yeah.
Well, I don't know, you know, the plumbers do a lot of, you know, and lots of them are doing quite well now.
Correct.
Can you put fans up there to circulate?
Probably good. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, like like what they have in gymnasiums, you know, the
The problem is that it's not where the doors, you leave the door closed, yeah.
Yeah.
You're around. It's up on that tippy top.
Yeah.
So you're talking about. That holes in the wall and.
One exhaust fan, one in might work.
Take a lot of CFMs to move that moisture out of there.
Yeah.
I think our ultimate goal would be to get that cupola off at some point in time.
Mhm.
and just, you could just put a roof.
But it's-
on it, not have
it's-
it before.
Leave it exposed.
Oh, that's.
We're the only one in the state with a roof over
Yeah.
it. Stupidest thing that ever happened.
But again, you're not allowed.
Because it was the stupidest thing that ever happened. Yeah.
It wasn't. Until 96.
We've all nominated Beamer Construction to take that cupola off.
Yeah, there you go. It's like, no, call the tech center.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank
Darren.
you.
We're gonna like that. Electric department, high mutual aid for 7.5 hours this month. Right of way cutting. 467 Clay Hill Road did a service change out, went from 1 meter to 4 meters. Installed 2 services for 144 to 150 River Road West. 140 Hoag voltage issues, looked at recording, couldn't find any issues. Took 16 meters to Morrisville Water Lake for testing. Completed monthly meter reading, high load check, substation check, and dig safe. Water and sewer. Turned down water to the Masonic Temple in the Royal View Cemetery. It must be spring. They continue to go to class for water. He has completed that. Now we're going to schedule an exam.
Perfect.
General department started sidewalks, street sweeping, painted and put away winter equipment. Cleaned up and raked lawns at Village Green and Municipal Building, installed cameras at Cold Spring to the finding of needles. Fix the flagpole at Village Green. Safety meeting with NIPA on April 12th was lockout, tag out, and switching and tag.
What was wrong with the flagpole?
It's not a flagpole.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's lengths of corrugated pipe. And with cut, you know. with covering
So they just took it down.
and screws.
No.
No, they screwed it back, they screwed it back in. It's a perennial problem. And it would be, we may have to consider working a budget item. To
Put in a real
upgrade
flagpole.
our flag situation.
So we don't have a real flagpole at the Village Green?
It's flying a flag, but
It is
it's,
a flagpole.
It's not flagpole.
right, it's a homemade flagpole for you.
Okay,
So me and Eric had a couple discussions on that and we're gonna put it on our radar, try to figure out something and put up an actual real pole.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
And,
that's a
and
good idea.
we also had a suggestion from a couple other people about putting 2 poles.
A 3-pole set like out here.
Okay, it was a 3-pole, correct.
Yeah.
So that we could run our American flag, state flag, and then be able to do the community flags that they want on. And because the way it's set up now, that's the problem is we're putting more flags than it should ever. No flag should be on it because it's not taking the wind very well, but when we have more than one up there, it's really bending it. Right, so. Somebody wants to take on that little project, see if they can come up with funding by themselves, or more than likely.
When it goes from 1 meter to 4, does that mean they added housing or apartments, or what does
They
that
split
mean?
it up to, you know,
They took a house and turned it into
I'm not sure,
4.
did they expand there, you know, right?
This Sullivan's.
467 Clay Hill.
That was an apartment house.
So it was, it went from the landlord paying the electric, now he's.
The tenant.
Oh.
Yeah. Johnson Fire Department. JFD responded to 15 calls, 11 calls occurred during the day and 4 calls at night. Average duration was 67 minutes. Calls were 2 structure fires, 2 wildland fires, 1 debris fire, 2 automatic alarms, 1 vehicle crash, 1 odor investigation, 5 medical assists, and 1 mutual aid water rescue. The average number of firefighters that responded was 12. The total hours of service is 219. We have 3 firefighters that have registered for an electric vehicle training class coming up in June in North Country Fire School in Auburn. The FCC radio license to the tower repeater was issued on April 19th. Next step is the repeater project. For the repeater project will be to order radio equipment. We're confirming product availability and lead time to make this decision.
Eric, can you tell the chief and all officers, I believe this board is very appreciative of them working on getting that repeater and moving forward with that project because that's a
Will do.
great benefit to all the community.
That's a tower that already has other stuff on it.
Yes, sir, that's Harvey's Tower.
So
Lake Park.
it's got the power to it and all the necessary.
Yep, we just, by leasing it gives us the power, but then we have to install our antenna and signal monitors.
Okay.
Right.
This should make the community, well, the people in our town and the towns, the 2 towns we serve. To have better coverage, hopefully, right?
If I remember correctly from RJ's meeting, the map, which they had to do a little bit because Canada complained. Was gonna improve Johnson by 15 to 20%.
Yeah,
Waterville and Belvedere by about the same.
yeah. For Johnson Town, Johnson Village has no coverage issues.
Correct. But I just going by the overall Johnson area.
He's had a few deep spots in between the hills.
Yep, there's
They were
still
gonna
gonna
have
be like the bog road and over there in Belvedere is probably still gonna be a problem. Hopefully it fixes the rapids over there on Hogback Road issue. Yeah, because it's hard to believe they couldn't even have cell service or radio signal right there. That's kind of what got this all started, so. But we also are going to be, I believe RJ said he was gonna offer the use of it to men.
The what?
Oh, that's a good
Men's,
idea.
they'll use our radio panel. The discussion will be later on down the road if we're gonna charge them a small fee. You know, because we did spend 20,000 out of it. Small pool fund, which we need to recoup at some point in time, but. Members of the public. Kyle.
Actually, she's,
On the agenda.
you're, Kyle's actually on the agenda unless you have some.
Okay,
Different.
Yep, I'm here for it.
Okay,
Is there a view with the cold spring to see where these are in relation to the cold spring?
Because like, what are the pictures of the cold spring in here for?
oh, this is for her.
For who?
Then
This is for Kyle.
Oh, oh.
Yep,
Oh, that's what the pictures are for.
right.
All right.
So we're hoping to do a collaborative project with the Lake Day School to build a sort of 2-tier flower box around the welcome to the Johnson Cold Spring sign. That area is a little bit of a dead zone in the sign just sort of hangs out, and we think that it would really beautify that area by building a proper planter around it. So the Laraway School is willing to donate their time to build it for their students. And so what I'm looking for today is to use some of the $500 of the beautification funds that's in your current budget to pay for the materials, the soil, and the flowers that'll go in. And that's what these drawings are that you should have in your packet. That's what that. That's the design that they've come up with.
You know how much you need?
Yes, so I'm hoping for 500 total, and the breakdown is between $250 and $300 for materials for the planter, which would be wood. About $25 for soil, and between $150 and $175 for flowers. Pretty big.
What are you using for wood?
Yeah,
I don't, not sure what they're used for wood.
So if it's not pressure treated, you should at least use hemlock or cedar.
cedar, yeah.
Yeah, probably cedar. They built the flower boxes for us in front of the library for us. We did a great job with that. And so it's a
Are those out of cedar or do you know?
they painted them, so I'm not sure what the wood is underneath, but they held up really well. So yeah, this is the woodworking shop and their students, so they know what they're doing, but I will certainly make that recommendation.
I do have a question. So I know you guys were having a hard time with finding enough manpower for weeding and stuff. This is just adding to that. Are you gonna be able to take care of it just so it's not gonna be overgrown? Are we gonna be able to
So when
maintain?
Yeah, good question. Town decided not to put the article in the town meeting about hiring a gardener. We had to sort of reprioritize our time, and we've decided to, I don't know if any of you remember, but last spring and summer and fall, we put a lot of time into the Cold Spring because it was really overgrown and you know, just didn't feel like a welcoming place to sit and visit as a public park. So we did a huge raking out, and all summer, you can attest to this, I was pulling massive amounts of weeds out and trying to bring it back to its sort of former glory. So we've decided, because we put so much time already and energy into that space, and we saw the direct impact of that, people were just so happy to have that space looking better. And we saw lots of bikers, you know, and tourists sitting there and enjoying the benches and the Cold Spring, that we want to continue to dedicate time to that space. So that is one of the public gardens that we'll be maintaining.
You got anything?
I do. There's wood is really, really expensive, and there is a local lumberyard in Fletcher that probably has better wood and for probably less from buying it at one of the larger establishments. So I would, and I can get Eric, I can get you the name of the guy, just to save some money. I also would rather, flowers are so expensive and they're finite. I would rather see perennials planted or vegetables planted. A packet of seeds for peas or beans are just as lovely, and $3 versus $125 would fill that space. I'm having a real problem with taxpayer money paying for flowers. I think that if this community wants to participate in beautifying this community, local businesses should be participating in that. In Cambridge, we had a group of people where the local businesses would sponsor a flower pot for $60 for the summer. And it might be a little bit more now, but I thought that was very reasonable. We don't have, as you know, we were just talking about the water committee or the water facility needing work and other places. So I just want you to know that
Does
that's where I'm
Cambridge
going
do
with
that?
it.
How does Cambridge fund their They have beautiful flowers.
Valley Dream Farm does, but the businesses sponsor it. I know because I sponsored
What
one.
is that how they still do it?
Yes, yes.
Because there aren't very many businesses in Cambridge and they have.
No, but they do it in Jefferson, they do it in Jeffersonville too, and more than one business,
Yeah.
a business can sponsor more than one.
Mhm.
But I think that, we are tight enough on money for things. I think that businesses, if they want to draw business, then they can contribute.
Well, maybe that's something for more for this
Yeah.
year. It's kind
Right,
of
and
late in the year
understand-
now.
And I understand that, but rather than flowers, and especially since you're working with the Laraway students, I would rather see them plant vegetables and other things versus buying flowers
Yeah,
I mean, I'm happy to donate some
Or you
friends.
can mix them.
yeah,
know.
we could maybe do a mix and match. That area is pretty shaded for a lot of the day, so we're gonna be doing flowers and greenery that, you know,
Shade
that's part shade.
I have a ton of pasta. I would be happy to contribute that would come back year after year, so this would.
Yeah, that's great for the outside the planter box, maybe in front of it. Inside the planter box, we want to do things that are more punchy colors because it's a little bit of a dark area right there. So that's our vision, the beautification's vision for that particular corner. We have a lot of space that still there's a lot of hostas in there already, actually, in the bigger, behind the benches. But for that planter box, we're really hoping, you know, we do a lot of perennials. We do ask for donations for starter plants for the Railroad Street Bridge, and we get quite a bit, but this is, and we're, you know, always trying to expand that.
Well, for instance, Costco has some shade flowers that would be a lot less than $125, $250. And
Yeah.
probably take that. I mean, I'm just,
Yeah, yeah, we'll try to be as thrifty as we can. This is just a, you know, this is an estimate and we don't, I mean, the way that this works is that I send it receipts and I get reimbursed for what
Right.
we.
and I understand, and that's why I would suggest going to this local lumber mill, and I'll connect with you on that information, because I think that you could probably save.
Yeah,
Okay,
and part
cool.
of it is also bandwidth, like we're all working and local and we try to support our local businesses and I can't always drive to Costco or whatnot to get things, but we.
But
we try
somebody
to
else
do our
can,
best.
they go to Costco a lot, I'd be happy to get them. I think it's worth saving the money.
Yeah.
Unless you can make a deal with a local business that says,
And
can
sometimes
you,
we
can you cut us some slack?
Well, last year you had people donate. People brought you, that worked pretty well.
Yes, yeah. So we get as many donations as we can. It's a combination. But I know that there is money in the budget line that's already been approved for projects like this, and since it's a represented property, that's why we're coming here today.
Steve?
I'm good with it.
Me too.
So I also think 125 to 150 is awful expensive on flowers, because I just did that this weekend and we went and got almost a truckload for 50 at Lowell's. So what you're planning on planning, I don't know if it's the same thing, but so I would just request that if this passes, that you'd be very frugal with the amount spent on flowers and look for donations first and foremost. And all receipts should be given to Eric as soon as you go through with stuff.
I usually give them to Rosemary, but should I give
That's
it to
fine.
Eric first?
Well, I'd like to hit Eric first so that he can forward them to me and BJ also. So what's the board's pleasure? Would they like to pass this with a certain number or what she just threw
I
out?
make a motion that we allow Kyle to spend up to $500 on what she needs for the flower. The $500 it's been budgeted for what she needs to build a flower.
So that's the whole budget for this year is going to
Well, that's
that,
up to,
right,
not
but I
gonna
mean, then
spend
there
it,
will,
but-
well, they might, but I mean,
even
then
if they
that's.
do, then they don't have money for anything else.
Right, that's what I'm saying, that will
They'll
not.
not.
So we have a
that's-
motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Can I just make it a little friendly, that it's not necessarily me, but the beautification committee.
Right,
Right.
that's a good point.
Yes. Is that good, Don? You did any discussion?
No, I think you guys all had good points and just pay attention to what you're getting and try to keep your costs down, because it just gives you money later on for other
Yeah.
things, and I'm fine with it.
Call the question, all in favor,
Aye.
motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
What's next?
Diane,
Diane who?
It's lovely.
Now you've come to every meeting since you resigned.
Just a bad
I think
penny,
you
right?
missed us too much.
so Diane and I had a quick little conversation about her project over to the covered bridge building. And I suggested she come down and talk to us about being the liaison for the project. And that she would just check with Eric and the chair and vice chair before giving any go-aheads or anything, and she started the project. I think she's ambitious to finish it.
I will, unless somebody else wants to take it over.
Diane, I think the board's all in favor of you doing it, and you started it. I just think that, you know, being the citizen, that you just have to really coordinate with Eric on some of the stuff.
And where are we at with it right now? Because the grant has gone through, right?
Not you, him.
I mean, no, it hasn't gone through.
Melanie told me not to apply for that grant, the flood grant,
Okay,
until the site was accepted, you know, the way we need to do something. We're KAS, which is the engineering firm that demolished or with the preliminary work. They are meeting with Vermont DEC tomorrow at 11. I will attend that meeting, and I invited Eric to see if he can make it.
You can still send a link to me.
I know. I will. 11 no, tomorrow. And they are going to decide what happens with the site, what we need to do.
Whether we can bury the concrete that's there or it has to be removed. Because you do remember that has to be removed, that's putting a kink in your project.
You know,
It means it won't go forward for quite a long time, so hopefully they can agree with us covering it like we discussed
yeah.
in the past.
I think I remember them saying that they have, Lamoille County Planning Commission has grants to help out with that.
Yep.
That's what I think will happen.
I just know last time we looked into it, it was, had to be shipped to like Montana. And it's all considered hazardous waste, so
And I think I remember Meredith saying that she thought that we could just bury the rubble. That's,
we had some kind of direction on that in the past, but it wasn't very clear, so. You should find out more of that with this meeting, and I think if we can definitely bury it where it is, and because that's up beyond where we want to do the work anyway. And we'd have to fence it in. So we'd be able to fence them off and be able to go that way, so as long as we don't have to ship stuff to Montana, I have no issues, and I'd love to see Diane get this project and keep it moving, so,
And is that solely village property?
yes.
So that makes things easier, right?
village goes maybe what, half a mile more.
But I realized that, I just didn't know if the structure itself was.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
considered
all village
village.
project.
there was a printout. I'll try to find it. It shows the whole layout when it's done and it looks nice.
Yeah.
But I'll try to find that for you.
Good luck.
So I guess we would be looking for a motion to have Diane liaison of the covered bridge, the Powerhouse Bridge project.
So moved.
And I'll second it.
Any more discussion? So Diane, you'll just make sure to, I'd appreciate it if you tag me in some emails too, just so I can stay up on it and stuff. And BJ also, please. All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you, Diane. You are now a liaison.
Thank you.
Under three questions, go ahead, do it.
Oh, great, thank you. Thank you so much. Well,
Where are you going? The meeting's
You
on.
want to hang out?
it's not dark yet. right?
I know.
What's next?
Me and my voices.
Be trans bike.
Thank you.
I don't have to say.
Thank you.
So discussion on the V-Trans bike and bed scope and grant.
Yep, so The V-Trans, so we've been talking about, and we've been getting a lot of suggestions. What big village needs are, and sidewalk going over to the Jolly and such is high on a lot of lists. So the key to V-Trans money, the construction money, is a scoping study. And scoping study can run $30,000 to $60,000. There's an 80% grant. And LCPC is prepared to help us apply for that grant, but part of that is we need this letter of commitment to the project signed by the chair in order for them to accept it. So what that would entail is between $6,000 and $12,000 to us. As far as our cut of the scope is, which we both could either decide maybe that comes from ARPA, or we've got 40 grand-ish. Would you get the clean number on that?
$47,000 for the sidewalk fund.
Inside the sidewalk reserve fund,
Oh, there's a sidewalk reserve fund?
which can also be used for construction. I mean,
And this is only to match the grant, or to do a study to tell us
so it's a full engineering study that will give you all
everything.
everything that you need, cost estimates, what has to happen to make, A to B happen.
So it's more than a feasibility study, it's actually a plan.
Oh, it's almost like a initial plan of it,
Of it, right?
you know.
Well, I definitely think it's necessary, and beautiful letter, by the way. I think it represents the village well.
I think next to the village garage renovations, this was right up there,
Oh, yeah.
maybe second.
I think it was third, we had sidewalk repairs as second, but
And
But
I can tell you, sidewalks on School Street are a nightmare.
Yeah,
I walked them yesterday and the day before,
you're right.
They are a disaster waiting to happen.
Yes.
Even a kid who happens to be riding a little tricycle is going to go head over tail.
Yeah.
Because they drop, some of them drop 3 or 4 inches.
And the fact that they did the nice ones on Clay Hill.
Right.
Makes it even more
That's
obvious.
right. It makes it, even- exactly. It's exactly, they got perfect sidewalk nowhere.
Right.
Really, yeah, but anyway, that's another thing.
so I agree with you guys on, situations like that. What my concern is what is our classification of a rating of a sidewalk? What are we gonna call a good sidewalk, an okay sidewalk? Sidewalk that's in need of repair, and a bad sidewalk?
Or a new sidewalk.
Well, will this study do it for
No.
us?
No, that's strictly over there.
Oh, it won't.
Great.
For the most part, the rest of our sidewalks are us. So. I don't know, Rosemary, you might know, did we ever have a plan on a scale for the sidewalks for? or
Yeah,
did
like
they
a
just say-
5-year plan.
Somebody rated them, didn't Troy rate them at some point? Which ones?
I think he did as I come on, so I don't remember if that
Well,
was
they,
fully
they
shared.
clearly ground some of them down on School Street. But even if they ground it down, it is still a big. I mean, I think we somehow or other, we need to put a plan together that we cover. I mean, I don't know if it's cost efficient to just do them all at one time, or whether you do a section this year, a section next year,
But this study wouldn't stop none of that stuff, right?
No,
No.
the study
No.
is for the satellite.
Studying a new section of sidewalk, what's it gonna entail, and what's it gonna cost?
So I do
Yeah.
like that idea.
Yeah, we need to
is
do that.
Individual sections each year, so it's not just one lump
Well, and
sum.
then I'm sure there's grant money out there for repair of that kind of stuff too. And how much does that?
Well,
cover?
I might have missed it, but is this like frost heave just weather damage, or were they installed incorrect?
They're just old.
Oh, okay.
Very old.
Deteriorated. You just have to watch
Just
it
to
see for
make-
yourself.
Yeah, you should walk both sides. Doesn't matter which side you're on. The only place the sidewalk is good is where they took the yoga studio and
Right.
and repaired that section of sidewalk.
I think I would like to move forward with it just because of the fatalities that we've had. on the ends of town, people walk in, and to me, life is worth the little bit that we would put into it. So, I'm for the study to
Oh,
get
yeah,
a
I think
good
we should do a
sidewalk.
study. That's
Oh, yeah.
kind of the
But this is only for
the jollies.
down here, not the
Continuation, no, that may be something later, but it's
Right.
this side first.
No, I've almost hit some.
And we should move on this because isn't the state gonna be working on that stretch
Yeah.
anyway? And
Yeah,
Well, Eric jumped on it and we're hoping to use the state's own money to figure it out because they have to do a lot of the figuring out of themselves before they do this project. So,
Great.
Yeah, I motion to,
hang on a minute.
okay,
The only concern I have is that when I started this and come on this board. The chair told us all that it's not our money. Ratepayer and taxpayers' money. And we didn't allow anything for budget, so let's not go over. Board on things, I mean, I know this study is a damn good idea. My point is we were told to stay within our budget. So as long as we can never mess with our budget and use the reserve funds or possibly some of the allocated money we just dealt with, the old ARPA money, because we did leave that open-ended. Now, the reserve fund, in my opinion, wouldn't be for adding sidewalk.
just for repairing.
This is my opinion. To repair sidewalks, and there's several new ways. You don't have to dig up that chunk of sidewalk anymore. There's foam injection, which can level up buildings and stuff like that. They can literally come put some foam underneath that and pick that sidewalk right up and make it level again.
And can they fix all the cracks?
No, when it's
Busted.
cracked, now you gotta consider, is it cracked or is it cracked in movement? Because every concrete sidewalk cracks.
Somebody's
Most
gotta
of them
go
crack
out there and
Yeah.
who can make the,
Yeah, it's whether or not the crack is actually moving, you know what I mean? Because they're gonna crack no matter, all concrete cracks. So if it's not separating or having lift or drops in it on a crack, then they'll easily be able to pick it up, you know what I mean? But so to repair a square sidewalk for a crack in it would be silly in my opinion.
whatever would make it safer
Yeah.
and looking decent.
So I'm just throwing my 2 cents out there about the funds part of it.
no, and I totally agree with the funds, and like we have it, and to me, one of our big jobs is to make sure people are safe.
Yep.
And with us having fatalities at both ends, to me, this is a good thing I mean, like I said, one person's life is worth this.
Again, I wasn't about safety, I was just about funds.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely.
so we've had fatalities.
We've had
People-
fatality, yeah, what was it, last year, the person got hit there, they were wearing black, and we had 2 up there.
It wasn't a
Was it last
fatality,
year or the year
though.
before?
They're hitting Jolly's parking lot, but it was.
No,
Yeah,
I'll find it for you.
I don't
I'm pretty
remember
sure it
the
was a
fatality. I know a
fatality.
pedestrian was hitting Jolly's parking lot and they weren't.
the other guy who's drunk in the middle of the night, he walked out into the middle of the road.
Well, they still,
Right, go for
yeah, yes,
Up by the hill.
Up on the
Yeah.
hill going out.
so,
So a sidewalk isn't gonna solve that, but
no.
Okay, so
That's assumptions.
let's not get far off subject here. We'll just stick back to where it was. So we'd be looking for a motion to
Preserve,
this.
Allow you to sign the letter of commitment.
Commitment, and the commitment means
To do the
we,
study.
we come up with how much money?
Yes, between 6,000 and 12,000
Oh,
dollars.
no,
And you say my suggestion on that is that it's not needed for this, but kind of lies in Ken's that, you know. Reserve money should be used for maintenance of broken sidewalk, and a lot of our. Citizens wanted this as an ARPA project, and it's really a negligible amount of our ARPA fund.
right, I agree.
I'm all for it.
So we're looking for a motion.
I'll motion that we earmark up to $12,000 of ARPA funds to do the study that we need to do for the sidewalk to Jolly's from wherever it is now. I guess it's from here, right? Somewhere a little bit
From
further.
the end of the sidewalk.
Yeah, for the sidewalk ends.
And authorize the chair. Is
And
have to authorize chair to sign it.
that good, Donna? You have a second?
second,
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Do I need to come down tomorrow or something, Eric, sign that, or do you have it?
Yeah, I don't have a clean one that's not gonna have a staple hole in it, so.
Oh, I'm here by Friday. I'm in Burlington tomorrow, so I'm gonna make it back. Too early.
I can do this. Once I just get it, you won't see this video.
And maybe somebody can try to dig out if Troy did do a study and not too,
right on the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna get notes on that.
okay.
Or they did the project on Pearl Street. A few years ago.
Okay, so we're on number 4, review VIPSA AMI grant and AMI contracts with the village, with Johnson Village, and approve and authorize the chair to sign the AMI contract. Eric?
So. The, AMI is coming for us whether we want it or not. It's a good thing to have, but regardless if it's good or not, we will submit. It's just the way it is.
We have any choice, do we?
And right now is a good time to submit because there's 50%. Money out there. That's that we don't have to manage, it's still right through this.
GiGi, do you know what AMI is?
Automatic metering, so it's automated. Metering that, can handle, you can see when your loads are and, it's all computerized.
Thank you.
They will send a radio signal whenever they're ready to bill, we don't have to send guys out to read meters anymore. You can turn on somebody's service or disconnect somebody's service without going there.
Outage detection immediately.
So you lose power at your house, we're gonna know that you're the only one on Road Street without power
Wow,
by that meter.
right.
And then there's also an app the owners residents
I
can
believe
have.
so, you can track your usage and,
So does then that eliminate the need for meters on homes?
No,
no, you'll have it'll be there.
It'll be a different,
The meter will be on your home.
This
It'll be a
is-
different meter. Be a different meter, and it also, it will eliminate the need to read that meter. Oh, also, even, and VIPSA got it covered under the grant,
water.
automatic water meters are covered under the grant as well.
Wow,
cool
so that's gonna be a huge time saver for the
guys.
crew guys, yeah.
Mhm.
Wow,
Not a super time saver, but it's definitely gonna add up over
Right.
months.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
and when would this go into effect?
We're,
3 years ago.
yeah, well, no, it's like, they're going town by town and we're about 2/3 the way down the list, so probably. You probably won't see a turnover for a couple of years, but
And does this, will this increase rates, or is because it's covered by a grant and is a,
I mean, it's gonna increase our costs some, but not noticeably.
and I do have a question. I know that there hadn't been a rate increase for years, I think, until this recent one. And I can't remember the discussion, but are we now planning on doing an annual increase of a smaller amount so that this doesn't happen again?
Right now, we're in queue for a rate case with the Public Utility Commission. Working with Steve Farman from VIPSA. And we're gonna put together a rate case and hopefully get it accepted
Okay,
for a larger rate increase.
I
And then we'll do the smaller ones to keep up with things afterward.
I believe you were talking about not the water and sewer rate increase, correct?
yes,
Oh, water and sewer rate.
We haven't set it in stone, but I believe we'll have to look at it, but I believe it's a necessity.
So we don't put ourselves back in that position.
So,
yeah, no, so do I, that's why I was
Just
wondering, but I mean also for
Right.
the electric, yeah, I mean.
so this past
Whatever
budget
it is.
that I brought forth, I put in a little bit of our local fund money in to make it so neither of the rates were over 10% increase.
Right.
Water was further behind. So next, it already is in line for like 3.5% increase to next year. Because I just kind of deferred that to reduce the
Right.
the immediate impact.
Yeah, no, I understand. I just don't want everybody to be hit again. It's much
Oh, no.
easier
And
to have those smaller ones
Yeah,
every year than a
You're-
huge bunch.
Yeah, there's new person managing the
There's a
budget.
new
So as
sheriff
long
in
as you
town.
guys prove it, I'll be bringing incremental increases.
Okay, thank you.
And as far as the power, we don't just get to say we want to increase it. We have to have a
Right.
rate study because we're regulated.
Right.
Right, yes.
Well, asterisks. After this one, as long as we stay within 2%, we don't have to get their blessing.
Oh,
That's a new thing.
So
So,
that makes it easier for everybody.
yes.
So we'd be looking for a motion.
To basically sign the BIPSA contract, which is the same contract, as everyone else, just the names have been changed.
and you sign it, right, Eric, or does Ken?
No, I have to.
Ken signs it?
And the problem, the thing with this, with this grant is all BIPSA towns have to sign it or none of us get it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which they're all gonna go because
They're all
we all put it off
yeah.
when there was a lot more money to fund it.
Lessons learned. I make a motion that we authorize Ken to sign the agreement for advanced metering infrastructure project.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Any more discussion? You understanding, GG?
Yes, I do.
Feel free to ask questions, you know what I mean? If you don't get it, because not a one of us here got it for a long time.
Okay, you still don't get it. Have a choice.
So-
Feel free to ask questions.
Yeah,
Everyone's new wants.
Right,
you're good?
yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Like,
Passes unanimous? You have that one too, or, oh, everybody?
one step ahead.
Do I have to sign them both or in both spots or just?
No, just one says Ken.
Well, okay, yeah.
The other one's for the other Ken, actually.
There's two Kens, so you had me thrown for.
Yeah, the only one that, the one big long French name.
Yeah, that nobody can spell.
Let's see, so we need to review and possibly adjust trustees' rate of compensation. BJ, I believe this one was yours.
Yes, since it's been a while for the trustees, I think it should go up. We are at 1,000, no, we're at 1,250 and 1,500. I think we should go up $250. So for regular trustees, it will be 1,250, and for chair, it'll be 1,500. So whatever 250 below that, so it's 1,000 and 1,250. Yeah.
It's still below what the select board is.
Fine, I don't care.
My only question is to Rosemary, do you know when the last time the trustees raised the rate?
Oh, more than 10 years.
I asked Gordy and he couldn't remember. So that's how you're right. So,
I try to be as fiscally responsible as I can be, which is why I had the conversation about the beautification committee. I probably, even though it has been a while, I probably wouldn't support the increase, except I think it's really important that at some point we try and recruit younger people to be involved, and I think that
Might be
that
an
compensation
incentive.
might be an incentive. So I will, but I just wanted to let you know that's my reasoning, is to try and entice younger people, and if sometimes money helps.
With the thing with that, being, just want to be doing it because you're community spirited and you don't want to spend the money. There is a member that turns their check into the fire department, so that's an option also.
So, yes, there are always, I try and, I might be putting something towards the food shelf. So, yeah, there are always places to put it, but that would be my motivation, is to try and support young people becoming involved in local sports, public service.
Steve?
Yeah, I'll ditto, Gigi, if it helped to motivate younger people to get involved, that would be my main reason to
You
support.
guys saying we're all old?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm old, I'm probably the oldest person here. Steve's the youngest.
I refuse.
But what about the conversation with you?
I'll go, yeah, I'm fine with it. I agree.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Actually, we didn't have a motion.
Oh, I motion for a $250 increase for the chair and trustee members compensation
Effective.
effective starting next. Where are we? Are we in this cycle yet?
Denver.
Start in January.
There you go.
I'm fine with next
Fiscal
year, next fiscal year. That way we can budget it.
Yep.
Need a second?
I'll
Second.
Second.
So this is an increase of 250. You want to say what that comes out to with the increase?
Yeah, it'll be $1,250 for the regular members and $1,500 for the chair. And it'll start next fiscal year.
January 1, 24
So the fiscal year for the village
is the calendar year.
Is the calendar year, okay. Guess I should have asked that some time ago.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Passes.
I'm very excited. I have my fire department tour tomorrow night.
Discussion and possibly act upon the draft of the village green food truck permit application and fees.
Do we have any applications at this point? For this
Yes,
year?
I probably should have. Well, people, I updated the old application, the updated ones in your packet.
Is there anybody asked about it yet?
I have, I've got an application we need to. I think we'll do it next month. Right, I just to get consensus inside.
I think we can do
Wagon
consensus.
Wagon gave me the application last fall.
Yeah, I think
They were in here.
Yeah, but I talked to Kevin and I think they're actually pulling somewhere else in
Yeah, I think they're going
Jeffersonville
to, yeah. they're
by the
going to-
weed shop.
Jeffersonville, yeah.
Okay,
I know they were concerned with the size of their vehicle.
I mean, that's a perfect place for waffles.
Weed shop.
Yeah.
Because I actually talked to him I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I asked him and he said he was going dead a spot there, so.
We know where to find.
But anybody else after that? Nothing else?
Mr. Chair, something I'd like to say.
Yes.
I've heard, well, I don't know how well Jennison Promise Cafe is doing. But I think that until it's established that they're doing well, I don't want to do anything that would jeopardize them.
Like brick and mortar.
So my personal feeling is not to allow anything that conflicts with them. Now, if it's something that's gonna open after 3. Or sell something that's nothing like what they sell, then I would consider it. But anything that conflicts with them, such as the front seat coffee guy or anything like that, I would be opposed.
So took the words right out of my page.
That's what we have, yeah.
See, and that's where I would disagree with you, simply because the people that would stop at that coffee guy in the green are not people who are going to go to Jennison. They're going to be people who are commuting to Morrisville or someplace else to Smugs, because if Jennison had a drive-through, I would agree with you. But Jennison does not have a drive-through. The people that are going to Jennison, as far as I've noticed, are people who are sitting there oftentimes for hours or on bike.
I've seen a lot of people walk out with a coffee to go.
Yeah.
There.
So I'd just like to add something. When I added this to the agenda, I talked to Eric and I also called Mr. Tatro. And I had the same concerns you did, Steve. And I had the same concerns last year, if you remember correctly, about any competition to anybody with brick and mortar. It is my personal opinion that anybody that opens a brick and mortar absolutely not have competition because they're paying us taxes. But I agree with after hour stuff, and Eric brought that up also to me.
Well, the other thing is that Jenna's does not cook anything at lunchtime. It's strictly sandwiches. So anything, pizza, any other kind of lunch food that is cooked, like the ones that did the
Moves or mudgies.
Mudgy. Those guys that did that kind of food is totally different than what Jenna's.
Can I pause people for a minute and go through some of the wording on this?
Yep.
That'll address some of your questions.
Yep.
All right, so the major changes are the fee change it went from $10 to $18 a day. The hours, originally the hours were between 6 a.m. and 4 p.m. daily. I changed that to between 6 a.m. to 4 a.m. 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday. And 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Monday and Tuesday because nobody else is open.
How come not till 8 p.m. period?
To reduce conflict with the brick and mortar restaurants.
Marcellus also is open on.
Because McDonald's sells everything,
Yeah, you guys really should come to Saturday morning coffee, because let me tell you what, it's very interesting. That's where we have all these discussions and all these community people that come in and we all sit and talk. One of the things that we were talking about, the old Plum and Main or Wicked Wings or whatever you want to call it, a restaurant coming in there, and the concern was competition with Marsala or with Moods. And people, almost everybody said the more restaurants, the better. Competition is good
right?
for each other. They want,
more
you
restaurants
want
in
more.
buildings,
Yes,
You
brick and mortar,
want more
brick
to
and mortar.
come in.
right?
And I think that different people are gonna sell, like, if somebody was gonna sell burgers, I don't care if Moods sell burgers, but if somebody on the Village Green wants to sell burgers, I don't think there's a problem with that.
Right.
Well, Moog's not in the village,
Both sides of the village.
Right, exactly.
so our concern
Still,
should be with our tax and ratepayers.
Right.
right,
So if somebody wants to open a business on Main Street or in the village, period, we should fully back them versus any food truck in the village.
well, I'll tell you what, if any of you people know anyone that is at all interested in opening a restaurant, there is a golden opportunity in Johnson. Just gotta find somebody that wants to do it at the old company.
Tough business right now, but I hear you.
No, the man that owns that building will set you up.
So the key wording and like I said, this is the drafting. If you folks want to massage the verbiage, that's great. But address the concerns that have been expressed already. No food truck may offer a majority of products significantly similar. Oh, I need to do it. There you go. There's that. I had similarity because I changed the structure of the sentence. I forgot to change that word. To those offered by a local village restaurant that is open during the same hours. That way, like I said, if someone wanted to be open Monday selling tacos, that's fine, but not on Wednesday.
Okay, let's look at this, because I like that path, but I'm also thinking of, like we had the pizza place, the pizza truck last year. And they were going against their direct pizza brick and mortar, but that pizza brick and mortar was never open.
Correct.
So how can we word it to make sure that we can get a truck in if the brick and mortar is not?
Well,
He has it pretty worded
it's
there.
open during the same hours.
Okay. I know they say they're always open, but they were never open. So that was kind of where it was like, how can you hire a food truck if this brick and mortar says they're going to always be open and then they're never open? That's where.
How does the mobile fall into your feelings? Because,
That's a
Store.
that's a store, it's not a restaurant.
Yeah, they're franchise.
okay,
You know, if they were the only mobile or the only whatever, who owns it? Arrow Valley
Steve,
store,
skip that.
okay.
Valley store.
No, I agree. I just wanted to ask because
Yeah.
I know that they have,
Yeah, they have, yep, they have a great little snack section. But
yeah.
they're not gonna
I was
leave
gonna
it.
say, people like
Their
it.
pizza is in fact,
I've heard it from a lot of people.
But it's not something.
that's
we
not
need
the
to
same.
protect.
That's right.
right,
Right,
That's right.
right.
He's got a lot of places that cover any losses.
Right. Yeah, it's called the pump out front where he is hammering it.
Yeah.
So
I didn't say that.
They're making some money.
That's the whole thing.
So I absolutely agree with no competition part of it. As long as they're open when the other ones aren't. It's just my personal opinion. You guys can take it from there.
Now, I did have a question because I know that the building that Linda was talking about, and I don't know if this is true or not, but someone had mentioned that the parking was an issue.
Always. an issue
Is
on Main
always
Street.
So, but
that's.
we don't have any space to.
My concern was more if they're renting out apartments upstairs, which I think they're planning to do. It wasn't if it's a restaurant downstairs.
Oh, I didn't know that they were apartments upstairs.
They're
Apartment
remodeling,
upstairs.
we don't know exactly what they're doing.
They're doing an apartment upstairs and one downstairs.
Food truck must be parked and maintain access to all village green public parking spaces.
Thank you.
So I'd be looking for a motion to approve this. Actually, I'd just like to make one more correction. You had $10 is going
No,
right.
no, the old one was 10, I thought 18.
12.50.
12.50,
Yeah.
you were saying 20, I made it 18 to make it sound.
No, it was 12.50.
Oh, it's 12.50, okay.
I was trying to get it to
Oh, I
15
got you.
and they would only go to 12.50 last year.
And it's $12.50 a day, whether they're there or not. How does that work?
Right.
If they hire, sign up for
Taking
the
up the
power,
space.
that's their position and we can't let anybody else in there.
Yeah,
So,
they got the space.
If they get it reserved, it's theirs.
and it's still in there that there's no generators allowed, correct?
That's not been removed.
Um,
So you can put in a price.
Gonna go up to 18.
And they have to truck away their trash and their gray water.
That's all in there, yeah.
Are there, is this year round or is it only during the summer
No,
months
October.
through the
It's all
fall?
October.
It's October.
I don't remember what the cutoff date was.
October 30th.
30th.
The fact that no one has come in and
Right.
asked about it yet is not a good sign.
Not a good sign.
Well, I'm assuming that the coffee place didn't come in and ask
Because
because
of
they know
Jennison.
Greg's open, you know.
Yeah.
What did Greg think about that?
Greg. He would appreciate it if we didn't allow
No, Bill
That's
probably
the
would
same thing
too.
he's told me.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
And I asked him for his opinion, and you didn't offer it, I asked for
Yeah.
it. Because I want to protect Britain Mortar, and I know he's done a lot for the village, he's got a lot of properties.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
But it'd be nice to see a business succeed on Main Street for a while. Especially one that's doing in the food part,
Yes, yes.
whether it's anything, you know what I mean? That I walked in just a couple times, just talk, I didn't buy anything. Now that you said that, I feel bad.
Yes. I'm there a couple times a week.
We're good.
Yep.
So what's the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we approve the new contract as written by Eric for the policy for food trucks on the green.
The Village Green Food Truck application.
Does that work for you, Donna, or do you need?
Yep.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Any other discussion? You just,
Nope. The only difference is I'm gonna make one grammar credit, so.
all in favor?
Aye.
Passes. So number 7, we're gonna review and approve update of village account receivable clerk job description.
Okay, so this one was actually ready last month, but somehow fell out of the packet, so we didn't approve the rest of them. I realized that's like, oh, that's not in there. So I just added this packet.
It's the job that Marla's
This is,
currently
yeah,
doing
this is the
now.
job that Marlo's doing. It was probably the one that had to be updated the most. Because it was written in 2010. When we had the, municipal manager, and Nate's job was called public works superintendent, so there's a lot of language stuff that was changed. And I also changed the lines of the chain of command, because she was reporting to everybody.
That's reporting to you, so
Reporting to me with guidance from Rosemary. And she still, operationally works, in Rosemary's office, because it's Rosemary's office. But as far as if things have, she needs to be disciplined or needs vacation or whatever such, she has to coordinate vacation with the office, but, signed by me.
So I read through it. I see no issues with what he reworded. I don't know if anybody else has any.
I didn't know if it had changed dramatic. I mean, obviously there are changes, but I didn't realize how long
Big
the
changes.
other one had been effective, so.
What page is it on?
It's right after the
It's about
green.
5 pages from the back. Start from the back and go the
Yeah,
other way.
5 pages
Faster.
exactly.
As soon as you finish those pages. There you go.
Is there anything significantly different from the old one?
Everything. Is
Yeah,
a
I mean,
complete rehaul,
It's
but it's accurate, it's more accurate than what the old one
Yeah.
was.
Copies of the old ones with green highlighter on the major things I got rid of.
No,
If you want to pass around.
Okay, I'm gonna stop everybody for just a second. Rosemary, would you like to bail? Would you like to leave? We don't, you sure? 'Cause we don't have anything for you here on out. If you'd like to leave, you can.
Thank you. I just have one quick question.
Yes.
And this is only because I've been trying to navigate it. And this is nothing against anybody, but I'm just wondering, does Marla have the skills to manage the village and town website?
I believe she does.
Okay,
As it stands, as it's built right now, she's been doing it, yeah.
okay, all right, good.
I mean, it's not. You know, at some point it needs to be rebuilt, but
Right, right. No, and I was just asking because I'm like, those things can be complicated. I did it once.
well, we have a contractor that does the big stuff, but as far as like making sure stuff, minutes get up posted or, some event ends up in the news column, that kind of stuff.
Right, so I mean, what I was asking basically is there support for her if there are things technically?
We have-
Yeah, they.
Right.
Okay, all right, good, because I hate, those things can be tricky
Right.
sometimes.
It's almost a little bit where she keeps it updated versus managed.
Right.
Yeah.
And she works a small percentage for the town.
20%.
And then they reimburse the village for that time.
So what's here includes the town stuff.
Mhm.
It's a complete description. Like I said, for the most part, a lot of it's just reworded and the intents of it.
Right.
There's, language changes and then just cleaning up the chain of command.
Looks good to me.
Yeah.
I motion to pass it.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion?
So does this, so the other girls' job descriptions get updated as well?
Their town.
But they,
That's on them.
but they did not, so. So Lydia and Marla are still jointly answering the window and still jointly doing some of
They
that
do all
stuff.
this- Yeah, they cover
Okay.
each other. Yeah.
All right,
But yeah. Susan works for Rosemary. and
Yeah.
Lydia works in town.
Yeah.
So I can't write the job descriptions.
no, I was just more curious as to what. Pardon?
That was a new job description when we hired her there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
I,
Passes unanimously. Make your clerical adjustments, Eric.
I will.
Do I need to sign any of that? or-
No, I'll just put the date that it was passed.
Okay, so we are on to discuss and possibly approve the appointment of the village manager as the Johnson's Emergency Management Coordinator. You want to give them an update?
So. Not as much as I really need an extra hat. No, but I approached, first I actually approached Bad Eric. But he was on the way out. And he said, talk to Evan, I think it's a great idea. I've got extensive FEMA ICS training, which is what these other pages are, it's just there's a little bit of repeats in here, but that's my resume, my training record through the state program. So it just. Whether I really want extra hats or not, it just makes sense that I do this job.
Is it going to cost us more?
No, it's just,
No, it's just,
As far as I'm concerned. Job.
it's just an extra hat, when it hits the fan, I'll just be extra busy.
I motion to have Eric do it.
hang on.
He changes his mind.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
My concern is that Eric does not live here. And if there was an emergency, although I'd really love to see you doing this job, I think we should try to find someone who lives in the village who doesn't have to stay at somebody's house while there's an emergency for however long Because who knows what an emergency is.
With today's technology, I wouldn't see where he'd ever have to stay here.
I could, yeah, if I had to, if it was bad enough, I would.
Yep, I just said
And
for the most part.
I could put a cot up next door, take it a shower and everything.
Plus,
So at the firehouse?
plus, if I remember correctly, in the past, there was also a member of the board on it.
And there's, so there's a spot for the, so that, as you see, this is emergency management coordinator 1.
Yeah.
There's a spot for 2.
So I was gonna make a suggestion, Mr. Sheep. Would you like to do that other position? It's.
We were
There's-
left in
there's-
speechless.
There's 2 spots,
Oh,
like you were saying,
The
you know,
coordinator
for,
2.
for some reason Eric was on the beach like Rosemary last week.
Well,
You would
it could be
be,
both of us rolling if it's something really happened too.
correct, but it's basically in the past, there has been a board member with whoever else was assigned, so if you'd like to take that spot, I think it would be I don't think it's a demanding spot.
Not until,
yeah,
Until somebody floods.
until there's so.
Then we're all gonna be here helping you. If
right,
it's more of a title, would you like a title?
Yeah, sure.
You don't have to take it.
No, I will do it.
I think it-
Hey, as if Eric's there being the main guy.
Yeah.
so that wasn't on there.
I wasn't glad, that wasn't my reason.
it's, yeah,
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
but you could still vote on it because it's not costing money.
So this was brought from the select board to ask about who wanted to be on it and whatnot, so. I instantly suggested Eric and then he volunteered all of his training.
Who's on it for the select board?
Evan, I think.
Evan is the emergency management director.
Eric used to do
And
it.
the other Eric was the
Yeah.
one who really did a shining stellar.
I think they call him the bad Eric.
I know, the bad. In this case, it was very.
No, he calls them bad. Eric.
Oh, no, I was, who said that?
I was on one of my drawings.
Duncan and Mark started it, so we'll
Yes.
blame them.
I forget who said it, but it started at a joint meeting that who's bad Eric. I was
It's
like,
pretty funny.
Okay, so I'd be looking for a
They
motion.
don't know you.
I'd be
Okay,
looking for a
motion for
motion.
Eric and Steve to be second.
There you go.
Second,
You got that, Donna?
that kind of happened quick.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye,
All right.
Thank you both.
thank you both.
Gigi,
Yes.
you're up.
Oh, yay. Well, as you all know, I think I have been on a mission to paint the mill house. I would have volunteers, which I believe when I spoke to Brian said that as long as people were volunteering and it will be a very small group volunteering, that they were covered by insurance, that wouldn't be an issue. I'll figure out a way to get the paint. All I need is permission. I had asked before I realized that it was a joint owned building. The select board in February, they told me that I had to wait until the joint meeting. Now that's off. So Beth had said, if you can get that done, good for you. I believe that's in the minutes. And so I took that as permission and but I will confirm that. So I guess basically I'm asking the village trustees if they would give me permission to paint the mill house. I have forwarded, it's not in this packet, but I do have permission from the Department of Health saying that apparently the building was power washed in the 90s, which was illegal, but it's done, it's over with. And as long as scraping is not happening, it's fine to paint over. So that's what I would be looking to do.
What's the insurance part? Who
The
carries
town,
insurance?
the town.
Down in-
So we
As-
cover whoever's.
As long as they're volunteers, and that's why it's gonna be a very small
And
group.
it's a small group.
Yes, it's a very small group. I spoke with, I don't have his name right in front of me. I can look it up, but I don't want to take the time right now. And a historian in town, I think his name was Dean. Dean.
Law.
Yes, exactly. And he was wonderful. And the Historical Society only has black and white pictures, but he is the only person who recalls.
Oh,
that the
Dean
building-
West then, it wasn't Dean
was
Law,
Dean
Dean
West.
West.
Dean West, okay. Anyway, I'm sorry, you had
Yeah, no,
meeting
no,
lots of
yeah,
wonderful
yeah.
people. But he said that his recollection that was sticking with him even a month after I spoke originally about him was that it was white with green trim. And then that would also match the green trim, would also complement the little kiosk for the rail trail, so it would flow. I'm really, with the season coming and the rail trail people in that area looking so depressed, I really think that it would be a boost for the village and the guests coming to the village to have that building, and of course also for the Cub Scouts.
Did
And
you talk to Farm and Garden about paint?
I have spoken with Farm and Garden about paint.
Because they're donating for the historical.
Yeah, so anyway, I have spoken with Alan, I believe, earlier, yeah. And so anyway, we're trying to get it done as soon as possible. So if I could garner your support, hopefully I can.
Linda, you're lead certified, right?
I knew better.
You're not. Shit. But you're probably the most well versed on.
I was that close and I was like, no, I'm not doing it because I'm not going there.
Doing
The
what?
only thing, being lead certified.
Oh, well, that's the thing, because it's not scraping.
I understand. I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. I was just gonna ask her a couple questions. I thought she was lead certified.
No,
But
my bigger question is the priming and prepping of it.
No, there won't be any prep, we're just
it's
painting
gonna
it.
be just.
We're just painting it.
paint, or it's gonna cost a lot.
What about solid stain instead of paint?
It'll chip it. That is so in the direct sun. I've done both. I've done both.
And me too, and I am a solid stain. I'm
But if you
prefer
stand
solid
standing
stain.
over paint, right?
Well, there's nothing on that building.
Oh, there is.
No, there is.
Some,
You
yeah.
have to look.
There is some, at
Yeah.
this point, I would go with whatever is the most cost effective. I mean, it's not,
You're about the same.
if people like it, then it's going to start to be maintained in the way that it deserves to be.
A good thick sticky paint would be wonders there.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. It's gonna take this, whatever it is, I'm thinking 3 coats of paint anyway, because it's whatever the first 2 coats are. The first coat's just gonna disappear in that dry clabbered.
Then I would do the first coat a primer, period.
Well,
Because
yeah,
you
of
can
course,
tint the
but I'm just-
primer. You can tint.
no, I know, it's just gonna be white. I'm an experienced painter, I understand.
I mean, you just go ahead and. do it.
Okay, so what you're looking for is just, I think what she's looking for is just consent. I don't think we need to really necessarily give her permission because the village isn't gonna pay for it.
Right.
So as long as the board is okay with her doing it, we didn't have it down as an action and discussion, so I think consent would surpass. Do you agree, Rosemary? Because she still needs
All for it.
consent from the select board, so.
I'm fine with it.
I'm
Yep.
fine with it.
I'm fine with it.
So you don't get to say this time.
Oh, okay, I recuse myself.
There you go.
There you go.
So I think you're all set. I just think you want to make sure you get permission from the select board.
I will certainly do that.
Please be absolutely careful.
Oh, I will be absolutely careful. Yes, yes, I have the 2 little Mormon girls helping me.
We're trying to get a garage grant.
Yeah.
So we don't.
Yeah, no, and this will help. Yeah, no, don't worry.
It's on
You're
the same
never even-
Brownfield property, so I just wanted.
You're never even gonna know anything's happened other than say, wow, look how pretty that looks.
That's what I'd love to see.
Okay, executive session now, right?
Thank you very much.
Yep. So I guess we're gonna go into executive session. Donna, I think you can probably leave because there's no decisions are gonna be made. It's just a discussion.
Okay.
I'll have Eric do the time when we bail out.
Okay.
Do you want us to go in before you leave?
That way I can record.
Yep. And I don't think we need to do nothing if you want.
I'll go with you.
So I'd be looking for a motion to enter executive session.
Motion to enter executive session permitted by 1 VSA 313A1 to discuss correspondence from our attorney.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're entering executive session at 8:30.
No, 7.
7:40. 7:40.
Wow.
And it's still light out.
I'm trying to get out of here quick. 7:40.